Many thanks for staying with us on the show. Yes, it is still Political Spectrum reaching you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuren. And of course, I did say that we're going to talk about the issue with APC. There appears a lot is going on with that particular group, with that particular political party, with due reference to the resignation of the DG of the Progressives Governors Forum. And I've been joined on this set by the APC Publicity Secretary-elect Akwa Ibom State, in the person of Solomon Johnny. So good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Again on the show. Like, welcome back.
It's good being here.
You know, initially when you were here, we talked about some of the challenges facing the party. It appears most of those challenges are still very much playing out around the corner. What's really going on within the APC?
Well, I wouldn't have, I would not know the particular challenge you're talking about.
Okay, let's start with the issue of the local government congresses, the ward and local government congresses. There appeared there was a committee set up to handle issues as fallout of that, but it appears not much was achieved then, as those factions still feel aggrieved.
Okay, as much as I know, the issues regarding congresses of the party, ward, chapter, and state congress that we had in Akwa Ibom State specifically have been done away with. You know, we have a means of resolving internal conflict in the party. And we have resorted to that, one of which is talking to our party members. This is intra-party issue, and all of us are the same stock. We have the same goal, and that goal is to win election in Akwa Ibom State. So if there is any issue, there's how we talk, there's how we resolve them, using the internal conflict. Do you mind
letting us in on how you talk and how you resolve?
Good. First, there must be agitation. Those who are aggrieved must let us know that they are aggrieved, and that has been done. Then secondly, the party must look at their agitations, their grievances, and then the party must find a way of resolving it. Our constitution permits us to resolve issues of our party internally, and that has been done. And some members who are not comfortable with what the party has done, talking to them, finding a rallying ground. Some of them have gone to court, and luckily the court have done away with most of those cases. And so it is the right of party members to agitate. It is a welcome development. It's proper, and it cannot be interpreted to be crisis, because the party members are looking at how they can make the party strong, how they can make the party democratic. So as a party, we welcome those, agitations, and we try to resolve them. And that makes us a democratic political party. I told you the other time we had about 13 cases arising from the congresses that we had, the ward, the chapter, and the state congresses. And so far we've had about 11 of those cases done away with, where the court agreed with the party that the party has the right to run its affairs based on its constitution and the leadership of the party. And some of our party members who initially didn't agree with the party that that is the way to go, by the interpretation of the laws, by the interpretation of the applicable constitution, they have come to terms with that right now.
Now, in some states, where with particular reference to Edo, Akwa Ibom, and Oyo, they had issues with leadership. Who owns the party structure? The leader of the party, which of course seems to be playing out up to date. Now, with Akwa Ibom, for instance, we've seen, like I spoke with someone this morning, and he mentioned rightly that still there are issues with people who are loyal to Senator Opandodege's faction of the party, and there are others who are still loyal to Senator Godswill Akpabio's faction of the party. Now, how do you marry this with what you're saying that has been resolved?
There's the word ownership, I think, is not proper. Because the party is a convention of people of like minds. with the same vision.
Who controls the party structure?
The party structure is controlled by people who are elected by members of the party. We had the World Congress, and the World Congress is going to elect the chapter Congress. The chapter Congress elects the state. The state will go to elect the national. Now, at every particular period in time, you have to look at which structure are you talking about, at what level. If it is the local government, the man that controls the local government structure is the chapter chairman by the constitution of a party. And I hate seeing people comparing us with other political parties. APC is a distinct political organization with a well-carved out constitution. In our constitution, there is nothing like a party leader, political leader. You know, we don't have that. What we have that looks like what they are talking about, maybe a political leader, is the caucus chairman. At the level of the ward, the caucus chairman is the ward chairman. At the level of the chapter, the caucus chairman is the chapter chairman. At the level of the state, the caucus chairman is the state chairman of the party. In Akwa Ibom right now, the man who is the caucus chairman of the party is Dr. Itau Dosen. So the two referred leaders you've mentioned, distinguished Senator John James Okpano-Odoidege, Senator Godswill Akpabio, former governor of Akwa Ibom State, if they attend a meeting in Akwa Ibom State, they will be under the presiding authority of the state chairman, who is the caucus chairman. So the issue of leadership in our party is not there. And every member of the party looks at the chapter chairman at the chapter level, looks at the state chairman at the state level, looks at the national chairman at the national level for leadership. And we are very contented with that arrangement, because leadership is something that must flow from one direction. A situation where you have a state chairman, and then you have maybe state leader, you have maybe senatorial leaders at many fora, is going to generate confusion. So to avoid that generation as a political party, for us to be focused, we have limited ourselves.
But when, let me quickly take you back to an event that happened in 2015, before the elections, when Senator Godswill Akpabio defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. Now, he was practically named the leader of APC in Akwa Ibom State, which, of course, that has been made reference to by Senator James Okpano-Odoidege in different platforms, in different occasions. Now, how do you marry that again with what you're saying?
Well, I can tell you categorically that that was an error on the part of His Excellency Adamot Shomole. As at the time he made that comment, there was no way party leader is mentioned in our constitution. I'm coming.
Adam Soshimilo at that time was the party chairman of the APC.
He was the national chairman of the party.
Chairman, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
And now how would he make such grievous mistake? You call it mistake?
Because he's a human being. He's a human being. Check through the constitution of the party. We can accept everything. But if acceptance is going to bring difficulty in interpreting our roles, we resort to the constitution. The issue of leadership is something that can bring crisis to a political party. And we do not want to have that crisis. And so we have decided to align ourselves totally with the constitution of the party. As at the time that His Excellency Chief Godswill Akpabio was named the leader of the party erroneously by Adam Oshomole, His Excellency, he said, Otue Kondone was the caucus chairman, state caucus chairman of the party.
And he was there, and he was in support of that.
He was, and because of that constitutional crisis, the committee had already been dissolved. So there was no issue. There was nothing like caucus chairman and caucus. Our late chairman Inyokubido had done away with that, and so Honorable Inyokubido was the chairman and leader of the party in the state. And all of us were looking at him. So let's put an end to that confusion. There's no such issue in the APC.
Well, if you say so, but looking at the APC leadership at the center, there seems to be still issues with factions, disagreement here and there with the Buni-led caretaker committee.
There's none.
Why do you say so?
No, there is...
Because it conflicts with reports that are making rounds online. on the media.
Listen, you know, as a reputable media organization, you know, you have to verify your sources of information. You
There
do
are
not
videos
just
to that.
you do not just pick information anywhere. You need to reach out to the party.
When they have spoken on video.
Who has spoken on video?
Well, now let me quickly take you back to issues that led to the resignation of the DG of the Progressives Governors Forum.
Okay.
It was said that he cannot man the position as a governor, and also
Who is the he?
You know, there was an agreement at the meeting that was held that he should resign. Now, I would like you to let us in on that particular story. What was the true situation? I mean, the DJ.
DG
Lukman
was asking who to resign.
No, the committee, some factions asked him to resign.
The issue is that whether he had the powers to issue such a statement, to issue such orders. The issue of validity is a very serious issue. I had told you the other time that people don't just do things. If people were to do things because they feel they should do it, I had told you specifically, looking at most of the things we are facing in Akwa Ibom State, we would have asked the governor to resign. We would have impeached the governor. But I told you we don't have the powers. The people who have the powers to impeach Governor Odom Emmanuel are the members of the House of Assembly. So bring that back to the APC. Lukman was the secretary of the Governors Forum. And you have to look at his powers, have to look at his responsibilities. He overstretched his bound. That's why he had to resign. Do not look at him as somebody who had powers over the governors. He was employed by the governors, and his role does not extend to giving orders to the caretaker committee. The caretaker committee is the highest committee that gives instruction to the party. So when you find a servant trying to give instruction to the master, you have to be careful. So the issue we have to note is that APC is properly constituted. APC is on course. APC is focused, moving on to its mission, to achieve its mission, which is capturing power, manifesting its prospects, showing leadership in all the aspects, in all the levels.
And that starts with a successful National Congress, which is what we will talk about right after this break. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Yeah, the program is still Political Spectrum, reaching you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. And just for your notice, this conversation is live on Facebook and, of course, on Instagram with the handle at SpectrumTv. So do well to speak back to us. They will be looking out on that. And, of course, I'm still here in the studio with Solomon Johnny, the Publicity Secretary-elect of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Akwa Ibom. So good. And of course, you know that we are a few days away from, few days away to get to February, few days away to enter February, and 26 is a date that has been set. Despite all odds, APC has agreed on that date. And what are Nigerians expecting? What are the preparations on ground? Well, how can APC achieve a successful Congress amidst all this?
Good. Thank you very much for that question. The party is set for the National Convention. You know, why it was delayed, the date was not announced, was to make sure that everything is put in place to ensure that we have a rancor-free National Convention. Politics is interest, and most times interest do clash. To avoid that clash of interest, political gladiators take time to get things done, and so that possibly we may have maybe a consensus. Where we can have a consensus, we look at the possibility of having congresses to elect those offices. So at the look at the turn of events in the party has announced that we will have National Convention on 26th of February 2022. And we are optimistic that we will have a successful National Convention to elect national leaders for our party. When you look at the focus, you know the kind of leadership that you will need to have. Our party is a party that has spent barely 7 years in power, and there are things that the party, the reforms that the party have initiated, and results have started coming out. And in 2 years, 2023 specifically, we will have an election where the next president will be elected, the next set of senators, House of Reps members will be elected. And our party is looking at the opportunity, the possibility of having a presidential candidate that will be reform-oriented, will be progressive-minded, and run at the pace of development that we currently have. So the National Convention is to help us elect those kind of, the leadership that will give us that kind of candidate at all levels.
Okay, now that you mentioned it, talking about presidential candidates, we have seen their sentiments that it should go to the Southeast. What is the provision, or what's the zoning pattern of the APC? Well,
zoning is not written on the constitution of the party. That must be stated clearly. And then politics is not played on a vacuum. Politics is a game of interest, I've told you that, and then whoever wants a thing must lobby, must consult, must build bridges. And then those that, for instance, the Southeast, I am in sympathy.
So apart from lobbying, where comes the place of fair play, equity?
That includes the fact that you must lobby. If I want your vote, I have to talk to you. I have to tell you how I will run so that you're not disappointed. And then all the zones in the country, for instance, the Southeast, Southwest, South-South, they are agitating for the presidency. And it's within the realm of their right to do that agitation. So how will the party make sure that nobody is cheated, that equity, fair play is accorded its due place in all these arrangements? It is to have a party structure that will set the rules in which all the agitators will subject themselves to. And then the delegate will do the decision, and then the party will just sanction it. That's democracy.
That's democracy, you say. Now, has this been, you've barely not said anything about the zoning pattern. You know, of course, I've always liked to ask this question. The PDP had what they call a PES. What would APC do differently in this particular Congress?
It will be for us to allow the organs, the instruments of taking power to run its course, democracy. Do not, we operate in Akwa Ibom State. Mm-hmm. The political atmosphere in Akwa Ibom State is very dictatorial, very undemocratic, and we don't want to be affected by that. People believe that people should not aspire, and if they aspire, they should subject their aspiration to the approval of the governor. And I have said that is wrong. That is not democracy. Every person, according to the Constitution of the Nigerian Federal Republic of Nigeria, allows anybody to aspire. And what you do as a political party is to allow the organs of the party to do the selection. What is the organ of the party? The delegates that will converge at a particular location and then look at the aspirants and then decide. At the end of the day, who scores the highest vote? That's what we did in bringing out His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, and amidst about 6 other aspirants. I was there at the convention, and I learned firsthand exactly how democracy works. nobody, for instance, if you ask people now who is the president having in mind to make as his success, the president will tell you he's not interested. Even if it is the PDP that will win, that he will gladly hand over to the PDP. And that's democracy. The atmosphere here in Akwa Ibom is the atmosphere, how do they call it? Reverse psychology. We claim to practice democracy, but we strangulate it and then we make it look like that is proper. The other day, just today, I read a report where somebody was talking about how the governor is tarring roads, which he said members of opposition live on that road, and I was like, is this how it should be? Once you are elected as a governor, as a president, you are no longer the governor or president of your party. You are the president of the country, the governor of the state, and you see the state as your constituency. And so that's what the APC practices. I've told you in this state, we are an opposition state, so to say, to the APC. But if you look at the things that President Muhammadu Buhari has approved for Akwa Ibom State, we did not even have them when we had the PDP at the center. We were struggling to have approval for the construction of Ibom Deep Sea Port under President Obasanjo, PDP versus PDP. We couldn't. But under President Muhammadu Buhari, you see how we've gotten approval for the construction of Ibom Deep Sea Port and a grant of 2.5 billion naira for that construction, despite the fact that we are an opposition state. You've seen how we've had University of Science and Technology approved to Akwa Ibom State under a party that is not controlling the state. We have an oil and gas free trade zone approved for Akwa Ibom State. And so the president looks at Nigeria as his constituency. And I always ask people, when you say that Akwa Ibom is a PDP state, I'm coming, you have to tell us the things that the PDP federal government has done to Akwa Ibom State. You know, even the Calabar Itu Road that leads to the studio, it was constructed by Governor Godswill Akpabio, then X, and the bill was kept. The PDP couldn't pay it. They refused to pay. But President Muhammadu Buhari has paid the bill of the construction of Calabar Itu Road because he deems it fit that he should pay it. So the APC, the pattern of our politics is ensuring that democracy, fair play, justice and transparency takes it.
Truth be told, if you put APC in the eyes of the public and ask them to, make a decision, chances are that they will not quite, find APC and their policies fitting at a time like this. Apart from what you've mentioned, do you think that APC has done, better to get a second chance at the center, considering the weight with which the PDP is coming to take over power? I mean, they said they want to fix Nigeria.
They destroyed Nigeria, mind you. We have fixed Nigeria. And I will tell you...
APC has fixed Nigeria.
When I say we, I am an APC member, and I mean APC. We have fixed Nigeria from where they destroyed and kept the country. Let me tell you exactly what we have done, which they have not done. We have made it clear that it is possible to reach the people with welfare. We have done that. We have brought the railway back.
Do you think the welfare has gotten to the right set of people? Because most times we hear this thing.
It has gotten to the people. It will be another thing to decide whether it has gotten to the right set of people. If it has not gotten to the right set of people, we try and find out whether those people that the welfare has gotten to, whether they are Nigerians, irrespective of the fact that they may be members of other political parties, provided they are Nigerians. That was the essence that it was formulated. And infrastructurally, anybody, I saw the PS to Governor Udom Emmanuel, they were enjoying a train ride from Abuja to Kaduna. They took selfies. I was very excited. Excuse me.
That train project was started by former President Goodluck Jonathan.
And they couldn't complete it in 16 years. And then we started, we came within the space of 6 years, and then we did
He
what
did it to a considerable level of completion.
Of what percentage from where to where?
A considerable level.
They didn't do anything. They collected loans purporting to do those jobs. They did not do it. The loans they took, some of those loans have been paid, like the 500 billion euro bond that President Muhammadu Buhari just paid. They took loans to do specific projects. Those projects have not been found, and the monies have not been found. So sometimes when I hear people saying PDP will come back to power, I'm like, have we forgotten so soon where we took this country from 6 years ago and where we are at the moment? We can see infrastructures coming back. We can see our roads. We can see, I've just told you the things we've gotten in the last 6 years in Akwa Ibom State. And these are for members of the public to do their judgment
let me
in
pause
an
you on
economy that is crumbling globally. Those are the things we have been able to achieve.
Okay.
And Nigerians will need to, be fair to what the APC has done in their judgment.
All right, let's talk about this. There's a lawsuit now, a case in court with regards to APC leadership at the center. Would the Congress still proceed amidst that?
Well, the fact is that the party is running. We don't have any lawsuit that can stop the party.
Will the validity of the Congress hold? As in, we've seen cases where prior now, when state congresses were held, leaders, some chieftains came out to say they don't accept the result. It was not legal. So now that we have another case in court going forward after the Congress, or if peradventure the case is not resolved before then, will there be any validity to the National Congress of the APC?
Filing an action in court does not act as an obstruction to certain acts being performed. We had a caretaker committee with the mandate to conduct congresses so that we can have duly elected party structures. We've done that from the ward, chapter, state, and we will proceed to do National Convention on the 26th. I'm not aware of any litigation that can stop that from holding. And we are optimistic that we are going to have a new set of leadership that is going to propel the party to the height that it needs to be.
Wow. All right. Many thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. I'm as optimistic as you are because I wish the APC well, if you ask me. I also wish the PDP well. I wish that all political parties in Nigeria, as a matter of fact, put up a good show and deliver dividends of democracy to Nigeria and bring up valuable leaders that voters can make a choice from. Many thanks, Mr. Solomon Johnny, for being on the show. We look forward to another time, or maybe after the Congress, you come tell us how it went.
Thank you very much.
All right, that has been our show for today. Many thanks for being on the other end. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of Political Spectrum. My name is Utobasi Tom. Bye for now.